What if a single email could destroy your career, your marriage, and your life all at once? In 2015, a group of hackers leaked the private data of over 30 million users from a site that promised discreet affairs. But what started as a data breach turned into blackmail, ruined reputations, and even suicides. This is the chilling true story of the ASHLEY Madison hack, the scandal that exposed secrets the world was never meant to see. ASHLEY Madison wasn't just any dating site, it was built on infidelity. With the tagline "Life is short, have an affair," it attracted millions of users around the world seeking secret relationships. Behind the scenes, the company was making millions off people's willingness to cheat, promising anonymity and discretion. But what if that promise was a lie? In July 2015, a mysterious group calling themselves the Impact Team infiltrated ASHLEY Madison's servers. They claimed to have access to everything: user profiles, emails, financial transactions, even the names of employees. But they didn't ask for money. Instead, they demanded that ASHLEY Madison and its parent company, Avid Life Media, shut down immediately, or else. The company didn't budge. So the hackers followed through. On August 18, 2015, the unthinkable happened. Over 60 gigabytes of stolen data was dumped online. Names, addresses, phone numbers, sexual preferences, and credit card transactions, all exposed. Politicians, CEOs, military officers, celebrities, and everyday people were suddenly vulnerable. Within hours, users were being doxxed, shamed, and blackmailed. The fallout was immediate and devastating. Relationships crumbled. Jobs were lost. Lawsuits piled up. Tragically, at least 2 suicides were linked to the breach. But what shocked people even more was that many of the female profiles were fake. Bots created to give the illusion of activity. Not only were users exposed, they were scammed all along. Despite global investigations and cybersecurity firms on the case, the Impact Team was never definitively identified. Some suspected it was an insider. Others believed it was a hacktivist group targeting moral hypocrisy. To this day, no one has been charged. The hackers simply vanished, leaving behind a digital crime scene with no fingerprints. ASHLEY Madison is still online, rebranded and revamped, but its reputation never fully recovered. The breach became one of the most infamous data leaks in internet history. Not just for the scale of the hack, but for the raw, personal destruction it caused. So ask yourself, in the age of data, how safe are your secrets? And what happens when the internet decides to expose you? The dust never really settled. The ASHLEY Madison breach sent shockwaves through homes, offices, even government buildings. Spouses were left staring at screens in disbelief. People woke up to find their names trending for all the wrong reasons. And then, the blackmail began. Cybercriminals quickly piggybacked on the leaked data, emailing victims, "Pay us in Bitcoin, or we tell your wife, your boss, your entire world." For many, silence came at a price. For others, exposure was inevitable. But one question lingered louder than the rest. How could a company collecting such intimate data be so unprepared to protect it? Investigators digging into ASHLEY Madison's infrastructure found a horrifying truth. The site was never secure to begin with. Passwords were poorly encrypted. User deletions were incomplete. Even people who paid extra to wipe their profiles were still in the leaked files. And fake accounts. Nearly 95% of all female profiles were reportedly bots created by the company to lure men into staying and paying. ASHLEY Madison wasn't just selling affairs. It was selling fantasy and profiting off deceit. Stories from the fallout were haunting. A father of 3 took his life after being outed. A pastor's name was found in the leak, days before he resigned in disgrace. A federal employee was placed under investigation after his government-issued card was found in the transaction logs. Even people who had never used the site were falsely implicated due to data errors, their reputations destroyed by association. This wasn't just a hack. It was a digital bomb that obliterated privacy, trust, and lives. The ASHLEY Madison breach became a symbol of the internet's darkest powers, where morality, money, and vulnerability collide. Hackers played judge and jury, but the collateral damage was staggering. And yet, the impact team was never caught. No suspects. No arrests. Just a silent fade into cyberspace. Was it justice? Revenge? Or something far more personal? In a world where data is currency and secrets are stored in servers, ASHLEY Madison was a warning shot. A reminder that every click, every message, every secret lives somewhere. And when the right person wants it badly enough, it can all come crashing down. So ask yourself, what secrets live in your inbox? And more importantly, what happens if someone decides to let them out? Weeks after the breach, investigators stumbled upon something buried deep in the data leak. A chilling message hidden in the code. It read, "Too many secrets, not enough consequences." It was a statement, maybe even a manifesto, hinting that this was never just about ASHLEY Madison. This was about exposing the illusion of online privacy. The false belief that digital sins can stay hidden forever. But it also raised a darker question. Was ASHLEY Madison the only target? Or just the first? As the world reeled from the ASHLEY Madison fallout, other platforms began to panic. Security firms reported a surge in hacking attempts on dating sites, private email services, and dark web forums. The breach had opened the floodgates. A signal to other hackers that even the most private data could be weaponized. And that weapon? Shame. Criminals learned that you didn't need guns or money to destroy someone. You only needed their secrets and the courage to make them public. Some victims of the breach disappeared from public life entirely. Others tried to fight back, filing lawsuits against Avid Life Media for negligence and emotional damage. But what's harder to sue is the internet itself. Entire families were torn apart. A woman whose husband appeared in the breach found out she had breast cancer the same week and went through treatment alone. Another victim's teenage son discovered the scandal before anyone else and never looked at his father the same way again. The hack didn't just reveal secrets, it changed people's identities. Behind closed doors, whispers started circulating. Some cybersecurity insiders believed the breach wasn't an external attack at all, but an inside job. A former employee, a whistleblower, maybe even someone who had been betrayed by the site themselves. Evidence was circumstantial, but haunting. Access points used in the breach were ones only top-level staff would know. The language in the hacker's message, familiar to those in the office. If it was someone inside, it meant the betrayal didn't start with the users. It started at the top. Today, ASHLEY Madison still exists, rebranded and resecured. But the name lives on as a warning. Not just to those who cheat, but to everyone who believes the internet forgets. The ASHLEY Madison data breach wasn't just about infidelity. It was about digital vulnerability, the terrifying power of exposure, and the invisible war between privacy and transparency. And the scariest part, the internet is watching. It always has been. What most people don't realize is that the ASHLEY Madison breach didn't just affect individuals. It triggered a geopolitical ripple effect. In countries where adultery is a criminal offense, names from the leak were used to target public figures, political rivals, and business executives. Blackmail turned into espionage. Affairs turned into leverage. And suddenly, a data dump from a dating site had become a weapon in the shadows of international politics. But one lingering question haunted investigators. Why didn't the hackers ask for money? Hackers almost always have a price. But the impact team didn't want cash, they wanted chaos. That led to a chilling theory. What if this wasn't about hacking ASHLEY Madison, but about hacking trust itself? By exposing the secrets of millions, the breach created a new kind of fear, not just of getting caught, but of being watched. It wasn't just personal data they stole. It was control. And millions of people realized, all at once, that the internet was no longer a place to hide. Months after the breach, cyber forensics experts analyzing the stolen data discovered something unusual. Code signatures that kept rewriting themselves. It was as if parts of the data were designed to vanish or corrupt over time. Almost like someone was erasing evidence, even after the leak had gone public. Was it a failsafe? A cover-up? Or proof that someone else, someone powerful, had taken control of the breach? The deeper they looked, the more it felt like the data was alive and trying to hide. The media covered the breach. But what they didn't cover were the suicide notes. In at least 3 cases, final messages were found from users named in the leak. One simply read, "I only wanted to feel alive. Now I don't know who I am." Another note blamed the site, the hackers, and even the internet itself, calling it a god with no soul and infinite eyes. These were not just victims of exposure. They were casualties in a war they never knew they were fighting. Then, silence. The impact team stopped posting. Their message boards went dark. Their footprints faded. No one took credit. No one came forward. Some say they vanished into the deep web. Others believe they were taken by governments, by corporations, or worse, by their own guilt. But one thing is certain. After Ashley Madison, no one online was ever truly anonymous again. The Ashley Madison breach was more than a scandal, it was a mirror. It showed the darkest corners of human behavior, and how the internet can expose, manipulate, and destroy without ever firing a shot. Are we safer now? Or just more afraid? Let us know what you think in the comments and subscribe for more twisted, true stories from the digital underground.